Okay, hi. Good afternoon. I'm stuck in traffic. I'm headed to a baby shower, and I've already tried different recordings of this video, and it's just been way too long. So if I can try to squeeze in and show you what I bought her, I will, but if I can't, I'm sorry. But I got her a delivery gown is what it's called. It was on her Amazon list, and it's cute. It's cotton, and it buttons up the front, and then it has snaps on the shoulders for breastfeeding. So I got that for Mama, because you know mamas don't get a lot of gifts for showers. And then I got a book. They wanted books instead of cards. I got a little black onesie from Bucky's that says established in 2025. And then I got, I think it's a mobile or some kind of toy that you clip on a car seat or something, of Dobby. From Star Wars, because they love Star Wars. And they don't know the sex of the baby. So when I went in Hallmark to buy the bag, they had two choices that were for baby. A boy and a girl. And I was like, well, that's lovely. And I could have got one of those solid color bags, but instead I got a little bag that looks like a bear. It's a cloth bag with a little handle. It's cute. So, like I said, I'll try to squeeze in some of that. Anywho, let me tell you what happened last night, because that's what's taking up so much of the video, is I'm trying to tell that story, and it's just too much to tell in a short amount of time, so I've had to cut out a bunch of stuff and start over. Okay, so Naomi and Phoenix come over last night, and Phoenix grabs the iPad, she goes to the couch, Naomi comes in the kitchen, she wants to make a cake. I'm like, cool. So I said, do you want to do the cake or the frosting? And she said, I'll do the cake. And I said, okay, I'll do the frosting. So I get over there and I put the butter in the KitchenAid mixer and get it started so it's creaming. And then I start sifting the powdered sugar, and I put in the vanilla and the milk and all the things to get the icing, frosting, whatever you call it, done. And here are the outtakes from that. First of all, let me say, I've told her to put her hair up in the kitchen, okay? I've told her, her mom's told her, we've all told her to put your hair up in the kitchen. But the child is as hard-headed as I am, and she has to learn the hard way, okay? That's just who she is. And I can't say anything because I was the same way, because I always thought I knew better when I was 10 years old, right? So here we go, stopping again. The first debacle that happened was she put too much in one of the pans. Now, this is not how I would have done it, but this is how she did it. She got my little cookie scooper, and she scooped out of one pan to scoop in the other pan, the batter. And I thought, well, that's not exactly what I would have done, but whatever. You know, she's learning. So then she decides that she needs to spray the cookie scooper with baking, you know, like the for baking Pam, whatever. It's got like, I don't know, is it butter and sugar in the Pam or whatever it is? Oil and flour in the Pam spray for baking. I don't know, whatever. That's what it was. She goes to the sink, which I was proud of her for that. I've taught her that. I said, look, when you're going to spray this stuff, because she's not careful at all, I said, hold it over the sink, and that way the residue's going in the sink and not all over everything. So she did that, and then she's spraying, and she says, nothing's coming out. And I thought, well, gosh, it's brand new. How can it not be coming out? And I turned and look at her as she's spraying it, and the nozzle is pointed straight up, and it's all spraying right here at the side of her head. So now all of this is just white and sticky with oil and I guess flour that's in it, whatever. I was like, well, that's because the nozzle's upside down, dear. If you turn it over, you'll be able to spray into the scooper instead of into your hair. Yes, so your hair's full of oil. You're going to have to wash it, okay? Moving on. I get the frosting all mixed up, and it's over there doing its little thing. So she goes over there. She turns it off. KitchenAid stand mixer, right? The big one that I stole from my dad, but that's another story. And she turns it off. She raises it up. She scrapes the bowl all the way around at the bottom, gets it all in there, puts it back down, turns it back on, good to go. And it's over there doing its thing. She goes back over there, she turns it off, she lifts it up, she scrapes it again. It has whipped plenty of time by this point, but she likes to keep it whipping. She thinks that's going to make it better. So I'm like, whatever. Puts it down, turns it back on, good to go. She goes back over there a third time. Third time is not a charm. She bends down. I don't know how it happened. I wasn't looking, but all I heard was screaming. Y'all know what happened. That thing grabbed her hair. No hair was lost in the making of this cake. No hair was lost. No scalp was torn. No bleeding occurred. It's a miracle. Thank you, God. She said afterwards, I was just praying the whole time that I wouldn't lose my hair. And I said, well, that's good. But since we got it out, have you said thank you? And she said, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Okay, now comes some of the funny parts, okay? I'm not laughing at what happened to her. I'm laughing at me and how I handle emergencies. And I'm laughing at Phoenix. Because she's in there screaming. She turned it off. I was so proud of her. That's the first thing she did, is she turned it off. And I was so proud of her for having the mental fortitude, I don't know if that's the right word, to turn it off. I go over there, we get the bowl moved out of the way. There was no hair in the bowl. Amazing, no hair in the bowl. There was plenty of batter in her, icing in her hair, but there was no hair in the icing. So then I'm trying, if you have one of those, you know, she likes to use the big paddle thing instead of the little whisk, which is great for this scenario. It's great because it's just big white open whatever paddle thing. So I'm trying to push it up and turn it to get it to turn loose. There's so much hair above where you have to push it up to turn it. There's so much hair wrapped around that thing that I couldn't push it up and turn it, okay? And every time I try to turn it, she's screaming about her hair. And she don't want to cut her hair. And I'm like, we're not going to cut your hair, but I have to be able to turn this thing to get it out of your hair, okay? I mean, you got to quit screaming. It ain't doing no good. And this is why we put our hair up in the kitchen. And she was like, I know. And so I called her mama. I said, could you please come help me because I need your help. And she said, yeah, I'll be over there in a minute. I said, your daughter has a beater stuck in her hair. She said, oh God, I'm on the way. I said, yeah, please come now. Please send help now. So here she comes over there. Now here's Phoenix's funny part of the story. Bianca comes to the door and knocks on the door, and I'm stepping back to tell her to come in, and Phoenix looks up and says, hey, Mommy, what are you doing here? She has no clue of anything that has happened in that kitchen. She hasn't heard any of the screaming and wailing and gnashing of teeth that has been happening in the kitchen. She has no clue. Oh, hey, Mommy, what are you doing here? Bianca just looked at me, and we both just busted out laughing because that's so Phoenix. So Phoenix. So she comes in there, and of course, when Naomi sees her Mommy, she starts crying even harder because, you know, it's Mommy. I don't want to cut my hair. I don't want to cut my hair. She said, well, baby, we don't have to cut your hair, but I am going to have to turn this to get your hair out. You're going to have to stop screaming because it's not helping anything. And I'm going to have to get your hair off of this thing if you don't want it cut. So she got her to calm down a little bit, and she was able to basically, because I think I'm gonna blame it on her being taller, because she could kind of see down on it, and she was able to get her hair and kind of pull it under it and get it to loosen up a little bit so that she could finally get it out. And she finally got it out, and Naomi just fell against her and was bawling, and she was like, well, baby, that's okay. It's okay. You still got all your precious, beautiful hair. That's what she was saying. You didn't lose a single strand of your precious, beautiful hair. But this is why we put our hair up in the kitchen. I was like, ah. But I told Naomi, I said, well, hey, I mean, at least your hair smells good. It smells like cake and icing and oil. And she just looked at me, and I was like, too soon. But I was trying to lighten the mood. I was trying to calm her down and relax her, and she was not in the mood to be calmed down and relaxed, okay? She was not in the mood. So anyway, once we got that done, I said, well, come here and let me rinse your hair out. So we hung it over the sink, and I rinsed it out, and her mom said, you know what? Slap that frosting on that cake and bring it home. Them boys will eat it. They won't even care. And I was like, okay. So that's what we did. Gross or not gross, that is what we did. And them boys probably ate every bit of that hair. She said they'll come back next week and say, you know, that hair kind of, that frosting kind of had some hair in it. But there was no hair that I could see in that frosting. So whatever. You know what? I don't care, because I didn't eat it. So, but yes, that was the good time that was had by all at the cake making last night. It was quite the party. I gotta turn. I got 0.2 miles. I don't know where I'm going. Is this where I'm? Oh, okay, I'm going this way. Yeah, okay. Okay, exit right. All right. And then which way am I gonna go? Well, I'm gonna go that way. Okay. I'm going to a place I've never been, in Waleska, Georgia. So anyway, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you could get a laugh out of it, even though it was a traumatic experience. But the funny things did happen during the traumatic experience. And hey, thank God she didn't lose any hair, because it could have been so much worse. And I think she learned her lesson, that you got to put your hair up in the kitchen. Yeah. Hard lesson to learn, but she learned it last night. So I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.